This has been my experience with Kundalini energy. We're just outside here in nature. As you can hear, the cicadas are out here with us too. Summertime Australia, baby. And recently I've been having some very interesting experiences with what's known as Kundalini energy. So what is Kundalini energy? About 5 years ago, I was given a book titled Kundalini by a homeless man, which I found very interesting. At the time, I was very spiritually curious. I was practicing Christianity. And when he gave me this book, it was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I began to learn that Kundalini energy, the word Kundalini actually came from the words coiled serpent. Coiled serpent. It's kind of hard to hear out here. And this is the way that the people of the ancient Indus Valley described the energy that they discovered sitting at the base of the spine. It actually sits at the base of every human being's spine. Doesn't matter who you are, you're big or small, man or woman, child. Everyone has this dormant energy sitting at the base of their spine. And if you imagine the nature of energy like an atom, imagine how much potential energy is an atom. When you split that thing apart, such a tiny little thing releases incredible amounts of energy. So the concept of Kundalini is quite similar. What these people of the ancient Indus Valley discovered was that when they activated this energy, it flowed up their spine all the way through their chakras and traveled to the top chakra, the crown chakra, and gave them extraordinary abilities such as clairvoyance, psychic abilities, being able to know the future, being able to see clearly, see through the illusion of reality. All of these kinds of things were being done by the ancients. So throughout history, many people have sought to activate and harness this power which lies dormant in all of us. Now, how do you actually do that? So over the past year, my journey of tapping into Kundalini has been a bit of a twisty, turny journey. And what I've found is there are actually some core activities which you can do that greatly enhance your chances of releasing this energy. And in fact, just very recently, I've been feeling and experiencing this energy for myself, which I was always skeptical about. I never really believed that it was real. I was very curious about it, but I never really believed that it was real. I always thought it was some kind of demonic possession or something, serpent energy traveling up your spine. What's that all about? But as I began to investigate further and look at various different accounts, I found that this was in fact a real phenomenon. So how did I discover it? Well, I discovered it through starting to practice yoga. And there's actually a form of yoga specifically dedicated to awakening your Kundalini. It's called Kundalini Yoga, go figure, where you're doing specific movements and you're positioning your body, twisting, turning your body in specific ways that stimulate your chakras. Stimulate the physical glands around your chakras and thus stimulate your chakras, your energy centers. And if you don't really understand what that's all about, I'll put some links down below to some videos about energy. And when you stimulate and activate these energy centers, energy is then free to flow from the base of your spine, from your base chakra, all the way up to your crown chakra. So Kundalini Yoga is an amazing way to start to activate this dormant energy which lies within all of us. It's number one. That was something I started to do and started to notice some very interesting effects. Number two is breathing. A lot of people, myself included, forget to breathe properly. It's just a natural thing that we do in a stressful society. We forget to breathe properly. But who does this properly? Well, we all start off life breathing correctly. As little babies, we know how to breathe deeply into our bellies, slowly in and slowly out, but throughout our life we begin to lose this. We forget how to breathe. And this lack of breath cuts off the supply of chi, which is vital in activating your Kundalini. Chi is that energy, that life force, which is necessary for life. So as you begin to breathe more slowly and you increase the quality of the air you breathe, you're going to be clearing out all of your energy centers and making a clean or a clear channel for that Kundalini energy to flow up your body all the way to your crown. So that's number two. breathing correctly, spending more time out in nature, absorbing those negatively charged ions, which are going to enable you to move more of that chi through your body. Number 3 is addressing emotions that you haven't dealt with before. Allowing yourself to express, to feel emotions that you've had trouble expressing previously. Traumas, times that you have been hurt by someone, you haven't forgiven them. Carrying that stuff around actually blocks the energy flow in your body. So as you begin to explore the releasing of Kundalini in your body, you need to dig deep into those skeletons in the closet and find out what you're actually still holding onto from the past. Forgiving yourself, forgiving other people, expressing the emotions which you believe, because society's told you, are unhealthy. Learning to express what comes up in a healthy way, of course. Letting yourself be, letting yourself express and feel everything that comes. This is very crucial when it comes to Kundalini activation. And then number 4 is eating healthfully. Okay, eating pure, good foods that nourish you, not just physically, but on a spiritual level. Food, just like all physical matter, carries energy. So if you're eating trash, you're eating stuff that's been sprayed with pesticides or comes from soil that's not healthy, you're going to become like that food that you're eating. We become what we eat. So it's really important that you begin to clean up your diet and put good, nutritious food that is as close to its natural way of being as possible. And whether or not you're ready to give up something like meat is entirely up to you. But as you begin to be more conscious of what you're putting into your body, you will naturally start to clean up your diet and eliminate things that aren't really doing you any good. So those are some of the most powerful ways that you can activate Kundalini energy. And what's been happening for me lately, over the past 3 months, is that I have been experiencing this phenomenon. I've been experiencing this energy flowing in my body, which is always something that I was skeptical about. You know, you hear a lot of stories. I always thought it was just kind of something that people made up. But what I found was, when I did my little trip out into the wilderness, I jumped in my van and I went and traveled, put myself right out in the middle of nowhere for months on end, and began to meditate very deeply and do some very deep self-reflection. I started to have this experience as I was meditating where I would feel the energy, I would feel this energy traveling up my body, and at first I didn't know what it was. At first I thought there was some kind of problem happening in my body. I began to experience kind of like when you crack your knuckles, these popping, cracking sensations inside my head. I could actually feel it inside my head. And what happened was, I just kind of shrugged it off at first, but every time I would meditate, I would get these experiences more and more intensely until it became so intense that I started to do some research, and apparently this is a very common phenomenon, and it's simply the energy moving up your body into your head. And it's beginning to open different channels that have been blocked in different parts of your body. And so I was really excited by this, and I started to do some more research, and I asked some people who work with energy, some energy healers, and they confirmed that everything I was saying to them was the flow, or the beginning of Kundalini energy beginning to flow. I actually had an experience where I had eaten some seeds. I'd ingested these seeds, which have spiritual properties, and I felt the base of my spine begin to heat up, something I've never experienced in my life. The base of my spine began to heat up, and I could actually feel it moving. And so this energy started traveling from the base of my spine up through my entire body, and I was having various different experiences like that up until very recently. An experience I had, which was probably one of the most profound experiences of my life, one of the most powerful experiences of my life, very recently. Actually, in the last few days, I was sitting meditating, and my whole body began to shake and vibrate and shudder with what I now know is the Kundalini energy. And I could feel the top of my head becoming very hot, and I could feel this energy moving through my whole being. So that's where I'm at. I'm actually going through the process of experiencing this energy now. What I would say to you, if you've watched that video and that's excited you, if if you're interested in activating your Kundalini energy is be very careful. Do your research, talk to someone who has done this themselves, talk to a Kundalini Yoga practitioner, ask them about how you can begin to make this energy work for you or release this energy in your own body, because it can go terribly wrong. A lot of people are hospitalized, a lot of people are really messed up. There's actually a lot of cases of mental disorders occurring as a result of this very, very intense energy being released. So practice consciousness. Be very conscious about how you approach this if this is something that you want to do. And lastly, I'd just like to add that this is a phenomenon known in Christianity, this release of energy throughout the whole body. Many accounts of experiences with the Holy Spirit very closely mirror the Kundalini experience. Or in other mystic sects, S-E-C-T-S, other mystic sects of other religions, such as Sufism within Islam, or Buddhism or Hinduism, all have these experiences that they report that sound identical to Kundalini. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Please share it with someone who will benefit from it. Thank you for watching.